that this technology works. We have shown it, and we've given you guys all the tools that you needed. Thank you to all of you for helping project that message. Because of you projecting that message, we have had many opportunities. I have been able to meet up with many people over the course of the past year who have helped me understand that there are a lot of people out there who are listening to what you guys are projecting from these Hangouts. So if you are one of those people who's pushing the messages, letting them know what we're talking about here, thank you. You've helped us to be able to help all the little guys, not just talk about when moon, but when value will actually make that moon stick, as opposed to huge volatility, swings that really scare people, crashes because of chains not working, all of these things, right? I don't want to get too far into it, but I will leave it at that. I'll leave it at this. We have the best technology in the world. When you look at places like blocktivity.info, and if you guys will pull it up, we look at this every week. We show you this every week, and we're going to continue showing you every week, and we're going to actually take it to the next step here in the future, and I'm not going to announce that too much more tonight, but I do want you all to know that we're about to go beyond Bitcoin. Okay, so with that said, you guys are here for a heck of a ride as we go beyond Bitcoin and start showing blockchain use cases that thrive when they're needed, right? That do not crash, that do not have problems with the bandwidth requirements that come with virality, with being viral, right? We want that success to not crash the systems, and that's what we have. And you're early, you're here during a bear market, you might be feeling like you're crying a lot, but I urge you guys to consider the fact that whenever I tell you this, I'm not telling you from financial advice, but what I will say is that I've been around since the beginning of it, and I've seen Bitcoin go from 1 penny to 3 pennies and then back. This type of stuff happens, and it's going to continue happening, and as a matter of fact, Bitcoin might be less volatile than it's still ever really been. So with that said, there's a lot more coming. There's a lot more to go through. I won't get too deep into it other than to say, as you look at blocktivity.info, this is your key place. Please share it. Please show people, because we are trying to not only tell people, we're trying to show them. Because everywhere else that we look in crypto, all they do is talk about it. They're not showing it. They talk really loud, but they're not showing it. And I'm not saying this to be attacking anything. I'm just simply saying it so you, the listener, are aware. Because this is what's happening. A lot of people out there don't know what's going on, and they fall for those things. So rather than tell you things, we want to show you. And blocktivity is the cornerstone of how we get that across to people. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and thank everybody for showing up. Thank you, PowerPix, for joining up tonight. I know that you have a reminder that you want to give everybody before I move on to a couple reminders. And then we have a little bit of an agenda that we would like to discuss tonight afterwards, give a little bit of information on it. And I'm going to stop for a second and let you step up, though, and make your announcement.
Yeah, absolutely. As most people are aware of, at least within our local communities, the whaleshares.io/BitsharesTalk.io platform has launched, and we're in our share drop claim period, and that extends through September 15th. So we're only about 7 days out, and we just want to make sure that we remind everyone to come to whaleshares.io and check out the official announcement account, which is @whaleshares, and you'll find all the posts that you need to go through and find out about how to do the share drop, if you're in the claim, and create your account. And we're trying to get awareness out across all the telegrams for BitShares and EOS, and even over on Steemit, just so people know that it's here. If you are carrying at least 1.25 BitShares or 1 whaleshare or 1 Brownie PTS, you're eligible for the claim, and it will give you your WLS token staked on the new platform as whale stake. But like I said, we're cutting it close on time, so I just want to make sure that everyone knows that this share drop is still active and to come in and do it. For those watching the stream, I have the graphic up now that has the URL. It's basically https://wls.services, and that's the site you're going to go. You'll fill out the form to create your account, and it gives you, the BitShares account that you'll send your whale share token to grab your claims. So we just want to make sure everyone is aware of this. If you've done it, or you know other people in the BitShares community or who had BitShares accounts who haven't claimed, help us spread the word, let people know to come in and do it, because as we've mentioned many times in the past, there was no ICO for the whale shares blockchain. This is 100% share dropped on the BitShares community, holders of tokens on the BitShares DEX. So this is the way the tokens are being distributed. There are no pre-mines and all that kind of stuff that was happening, just the share drop. So we want to make sure that this is as fairly distributed as possible. And Fuzz, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you much, man. And one of the things that I want to make clear here is we're a little bit different than most of the EOS talks here, okay, guys and gals. The reason for that is a lot of people wonder, why are we talking about other chains? Why are we talking about that are coming out in quote unquote forks, right? Why are we discussing this stuff? Why are we discussing other Depot's chains? And there was a time in the very earliest days of EOS, I said something that I don't know that everybody was very happy about who heard it, because it's, whenever you hold a token, you want it to be the only token to a degree, right? Because that seemingly would make it more valuable. But that's a little bit counterintuitive, right? Because the network effect is really what does it. And whatever we got to do to get that network effect high will make us better off in the end. And the power of delegated proof of stake precisely is the ability to create those network effects and those levels of scalability, but also the potential for interoperability. And this is truly what's going to take us beyond Bitcoin. We have been here as the founder of Beyond Bitcoin. We've been here talking about the Exponential operating system, while others were saying the enterprise operating system and number of other ones. And there was a specific reason, because EOS and delegated proof of stake chains in general that work together are going to create massive amounts of network effect for one another. And I believe that there is going to be a consistent, snowballing effect as multiple different cryptocurrencies start being cashed out of, moved into Bitcoin and things like that, and then moved into delegated proof of stake ecosystems. Because as people start moving that value there, they're not going to want to move it out. And if we make it so there's interchain communication between the exponential operating systems, various chains, then we're creating something that quite literally creates synergies between all of its nodes in a way that makes these ecosystems far more decentralized, up to 100 times more decentralized than things like Bitcoin, right? Now, obviously that flies in the face of what everybody would say in cryptocurrency, but that is the potential that we might be looking at here, that we very well could be looking at here, and that I'm pretty confident at least confident enough that we can say that it's a likelihood that this could happen, okay? And today, thank you for pulling up the image here. The image that we are displaying here for inter-blockchain communication. Imagine if we have various chains that each act as their own decentralized block producers. They don't get if they don't get elected to be a block producer for EOS or any other chains, then they are still their own sovereign standalone entity that transparently tracks the value of and the interactions within the community, right? All of these things that the blockchain brings will make block producers more transparent and accessible to the community, but also more capable of self-sustaining, even if they're not getting support from other networks. And this is a very key point that I want to bring up, because we have these issues with people saying, we have block producers who are doing nothing. We have block producers who are, we don't know what they're doing. And these things can be fixed quite easily if we start looking to make sure that block producers begin becoming their own DACs and maybe even their own DAC incubators. Okay. And let's go ahead to the interblockchain, from the interblockchain communication here. I want to look at the Warbly part here. If you can pull up the Warbly announcement, because I do have a couple announcements that are going to go along with this. We do have share drops, and one of them, the shot, it is for the Warbly network. And what the Warbly network is it is focusing on being an EOS clone that is focusing on financial instruments, financial dApps, and doing it in a way that is a bridge between the current regulated ecosystem and the future decentralized blockchain ecosystems. And that is the goal. It's going to start out a little bit more centralized. The theory behind it is that we can decentralize it as we move forward. Now, with that said, I've been asked to be part of that. So I will let you guys know, just to let you know, I am going to be a block producer on Warbly. They would like me to advise them and talk and tell them, my thoughts on things, because they have been paying attention to these hangouts. They've been paying attention to what we've been saying since the beginning. And what you're about to start seeing, chains like Warbly come out as sister chains to EOS. You're going to see them connecting up. You're going to see them creating value and also share dropping large percentage onto EOS holders. Now, given that we do have that snapshot taking place, I will let you know that it has already taken place, rather. Just to mention to everybody, the next thing that's going to happen with it is going to be following the snapshot. The production network will be started on the 14th of September, 2018. And what that means is you guys are going to be able to collect your tokens from Warbly that they have share dropped onto EOS holders. And that is a big thing. And they are not a dApp on the EOS chain. However, they have share dropped heavily, very heavily on the EOS holders. So what does that mean for EOS? If you guys can pull up the image that I gave, that we put up in the very earlier, about 10 months ago, 9 months ago, somewhere around there, to show the differences between Bitcoin and EOS in terms of how it is going to work and how the business model is going to respond. Because as they're going to pull that up for us, but I'll get started discussing it. On the image that I provided, this image is discussing the value propositions offered by Block One's model of distribution for EOS, and comparing that to BTC and to ETH and all the proof of work tokens. If you look at the BTC and ETH distribution, they're burning a bunch of money every day to secure the network. Whereas Block One collected over $4 billion, right? And the intent is to get people to share drop on the EOS token using that extra money that Block One received. And instead of burning it or forcing people to burn it by running proof of work mining algorithms to secure the distribution, Instead, they said, what if we just take that money and instead of sending it to a power company, what if we actually keep it and seed different projects, give value to different projects, right? This is what my suspicion is anyway. I do not sit in there with Block One. I want to let everybody know that. But this is what I believe they are doing. This is what I believe is the next step. Those tokens that are share dropping, I believe they're going to end up receiving help in various ways. They're going to or at least have a higher probability of receiving help from various initiatives within the EOS ecosystem, right? And this can be a dApp that is on EOS, or it can be its own chain. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, Fuzzy, if Warbly goes onto its own chain, then it makes EOS less valuable because there's fewer transactions on the network, right? All these different things. To which I say, it can in some ways, but it's also share dropping. And it's also doing something else that's very important. It's specializing, right? It's doing something that is that has specific intents for. And not only that, it's going to be able to tailor itself to those requirements in a way that EOS might not be able to. And it also it will offer the ability to see how other blockchains can do things that EOS can then maybe grab onto if they like it, right? Allow the other chains to iterate. Now, with that said, we have right now the Warbly token that is going to be in people's hands. It has been share dropped on you for holding EOS. And we have all of these different projects that are big projects that want to come on board. Big block producers, a lot of them are very interested. I'm hearing great news from Dominic. I'm personally very motivated as I'm hearing the things that they're talking about. They're very interested in inter-blockchain communication. They're very interested in connecting with people on that front. And they're also very interested in creating synergy between EOS, Warbly, and BitShares. So they would like to have BitShares be a DEX for Warbly. And everybody who is out there talking about EOS, they don't talk about all of these things because they're so focused on EOS. And that's a good idea. They should be focused on EOS because that's what you're here to talk about. However, I'm going to give you guys some insights that I don't think you're going to get many other places for a couple reasons. A, it's not very popular to say that it's the exponential operating system when not everybody understands the value of the network effect. And when not everybody understands that these chains and the iterations of various chains can actually be beneficial if the ecosystem supports these chains, right? If the community supports them and leverages and learns from them. Now, with that said, we are in a place where delegated proof of stake is here, strong. It's getting really pretty world-class stuff right now, right? You go look at Blocktivity, you look at the pie chart, over 50% of the world's crypto transactions are now on delegated proof of stake. You look at CoinMarketCap, it doesn't look quite the same. But the point that I'm bringing up here is that these chains are all going to start coming out. And you're going to start having people want to share drop on you. And I would say, be very careful which share drops you take, but be very thankful for them when you get them. Because you never know what brilliant person is trying to give you some tokens and an idea that they think might not be politically capable of them getting done on mainnet, but that they believe is going to show the rest of the world that they deserve to be recognized by mainnet, right? So what we do here is we try to show between all of us the cross-chain synergy, what I call Voltron, right? Because that is where it's going to come from. Imagine, if you will, all of the proof of work coins. They all trade among one another. They rarely trade into delegated proof of stake coins historically. But there's going to be a point in time when everybody realizes that all the other chains have CryptoKitty problems. And what happens at that point? Well, what I would argue is that what happens at that point is that we should look at places like blocktivity.info, where you're going to see chains like Warbly go through the roof up to maybe 1, 2, 3 in the top 10. Who cares? We have all delegated proof of stake chains, EOS based chains in the top 10, and you're holding a piece of all of them. It's a pretty good deal, right? So thank you for putting that up. I just really quickly want to cover a couple more things tonight with you. I want to thank everybody for joining up, because what we're doing here is definitely not moon talk. It's not the most how do we say it? It's not the most sexy stuff in the world. Crypto in general isn't. That's why you see that most people who watch it are watching it for people to tell them that it's, is it going to go to 1,000? Because that's really all that people know about crypto yet. And it's still so early. And you guys are all here and you're watching it at a time when I'm telling you right now, I am so pumped up right now, guys, that IBC is going to be is going to be coming. That I wasn't sure 100%. I just thought it was a great idea and that it was probably going to happen. But I'm pretty damn close to 100% sure that it's going to happen now. Now, with that said, I won't tell you how long I think it's going to be or any of that stuff. I've heard estimates, but I think that there's going to be a lot of synergy between BitShares, Warbly, EOS, Telos, and all of the others that are coming out. Whale Shares is another delegated proof of stake chain that is going to offer some amazing things from an amazing community. We are going to be creating a lot of value, and we're going to be creating a lot of synergies between communities and leveraging delegated proof of stake and the brains of the few people in the minority of people in crypto who have paid attention long enough to realize that delegated proof of stake is the future and will take us beyond Bitcoin. And the reason why I say that, and the reason why I've said that this is slightly different than all the other EOS casts, is because I've been here from the very beginning, and I know that this is where we're going. And I don't have to worry about being unpopular by saying it, because I also can tell you it's going to be good for EOS and for all these other chains when this happens. Because as everybody stops wanting to move out back into Bitcoin, as they start moving in between delegated proof of stake chains, and as block producers start moving in between delegated proof of stake chains, and block producers become delegated proof of stake chains, you're going to see people holding more and more delegated proof of stake chains tokens. And there's going to be no reason to wait 5-10 minutes or go onto a completely centralized service to trade those. So what they will do is they'll trade them between chains natively. And these are the types of things that we're going to see value transmission kept in delegated proof of stake chains. And when that happens, you will see, I believe, you're going to see a lot more people taking notice as a network effect grows and continues to grow. And I'm just throwing it out there that I am very, very interested in what's happening on this front. And I'm very bullish personally on that front. Now, take it as you will. I'm not telling you to buy into these tokens, but what I am telling you is that these tokens do represent value to the EOS ecosystem. And don't be too tribal, okay? I know we all have our own tribes, but don't be too tribal. Right now, with that said, there is or Warbly, if you guys can bring up just real quick the Warbly share drop and launch. We didn't show them. I want them to see the actual link to it if possible. And I'll read it off. It is https steemit.com/airdrop/@Warbly. And you will go there and you'll look for Warbly share drop and launch on Steemit. And that's where you'll be able to read the entire article there. I'm not going to go too in-depth other than to say that they have taken the snapshot. The production network is going to be going live relatively soon, and then the actual public access and access to all of the live net stuff is going to be available on November 1st. So please keep up with that. Please check in on it. Do your own research. Tell me if you disagree with me in our comments. That's fine. Do all those things. Give me your thoughts. But one thing I do want to let you all know is that I am very bullish moving forward on this and knowing what the plans are and what the intent is. Now, with that said, let's go ahead. And there's just one more thing that I want to talk about. And I know, man, I'll go so long, and I apologize to you guys, but we've been saying this for so long that I really want to make sure that we bash this. Like, if you only have listened to one of our Hangouts and you get this, I want to make sure you get it. Now, if you guys can bring up Brendan Bloomer and his tweet, because these are the things that I'm talking about. We said quite a while ago now that we were thinking that this was the route that everything was going to take. And when you look at Brendan Bloomer's tweet here, I'm going to go ahead and read it off. Competing blockchains will soon collaborate through side chains. Religious walls will fall, communities will merge, and innovation will compound. This is something that he said September 1st, 1 week ago. Okay. And obviously we had BitShares Hangout that day, so I wasn't doing this. But today's the EOSTalk Hangout. And it's important to put BitShares in there. It's important to put other chains in there as well. Because what he's saying is exactly what we've been saying. And I've told you guys what I thought was going to happen. And it seems to me like more and more the Block One people, like Brendan, who is one of the big guys there, they're even coming out and saying it. Okay? And this is by far his most popular tweet in the past week. Okay? These are things that you could have got it a year ago from us if you hadn't been here before. And if you have been here, then this is no surprise to you. But I do want you to recognize that people behind the scenes are now telling you, okay? And this is at a time when we were telling you guys this stuff without being able to even discuss it with Block One, right? We thought this is going to happen, and it seems like this is where we're at. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up, you guys can move it to the picture of Blocktivity again or bring up Blocktivity again. Either way, it's fine with me. But I wanted to bring it back to the Blocktivity matrix. And that is because before that, approximately a month before, and I had missed this, Brendan Bloomer was showing off the blockchain activity matrix that we always show. So I just want to let you guys know you have been here for the cutting edge of all of it. And I'm proud to say that we've been right so dang often that I am smiling, because if I'm right on the other things, I'm going to have a very happy next few years, and probably a very busy next few years with all of you guys too. And with that said, I'd like to open it up for anybody here who wants to say anything. To any of you guys, obviously the people who are here, if there's anybody who's listening live who wants to bring anything up, feel free to do so.
Perfect. Can I get a question?
Yeah.
One of the viewers says, what do you speculate in the announcement? What do you speculate? I'm sorry, they're saying that there's a new EOS announcement about to be made at the next hackathon, and he says, what do you speculate on the big announcement will be?
Oh, I don't know. Those are the types of things that unfortunately I can't give you a definite on any specific thing like this project that, I can only talk about the projects that I'm connected to. And unfortunately for me, because I would love to know, I would love to be a fly on the wall in Block 1 meetings. But of course without an NDA, so I can talk about it. But let's say this, that I don't know what the leadership of those competitions, the hackathons, are planning on revealing. And I believe that, generally they're going to try to keep them quiet until they reveal them. And that's just because most people in this space are at a great point where essentially, they have something good they want to build, they have it built, and they're wanting to announce it, but they don't want to announce it before they release it because somebody might, go out and clone it or do something like that, right? You don't want any of that. And that's why you've got to be careful announcing those things. As for speculation, man, you know what I would love to see? I would love to see maybe the free accounts for the iPhone, for people to be able to get EOS wallet through the iPhone. But I can't tell you what it would be. More of a wish than speculation. I hope that answers your question at least to some degree, but sorry I couldn't give you a specific.
He has one more question. He also asks, if EOS is successful in everything Dan wants, as in the exchange, stable currency, assets, will BitShares still have a place?
Let's just say that I personally very much believe so. And I'll tell you why. BitShares has been around for so long now that has had the opportunity for people to sell it, to buy into it, for more people to earn it. The distribution of BitShares is relatively healthy at this point. And I love that. I also love the fact that it's been around for so long and that it's also got almost all of the people that I know who were there before delegated proof of stake was cool, who recognized what I recognized. So I'm not the only one. There's a whole community of them. And the wonderful thing is if they can build value like we've talked about, and if people are reaching out to me saying, Fuzzy, I've heard all the ideas you discussed, and some of them are BitShares related, and I would like to let you or help you get those things done you want to get done. If those things that I believe that I want to get done, yes, I'm very happy for BitShares. I hope that answers your question. I could go further, but I'm very happy for BitShares if that does indeed happen. And I'm beginning to feel like I'm getting more support personally from other people that will help me speed some of this stuff up. Which makes
he has one more question. His question is Fuzzy attending the London Hackathon or the San Francisco Hackathon?
I'll tell you guys this. If you guys ever have a hackathon that you know of that wants to send me out, I'll gladly go. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a flashy guy. I don't like to be flashy. I just don't. And I know it's probably not a good thing all the time. But what I will say is I would love to go to them and meet people and talk to them. But I spend all of the extra money and resources I have, literally all the extra stuff that I get, that I can actually access. I put it into building things. And I believe that at this stage of my career in cryptocurrency, I would love to go to these things, but you will probably not see me at many of them. Simply because I would rather go to them after I've gotten X, Y, and Z done. I can say that it's done. I don't have to worry about that as a responsibility anymore, and go there to talk with everybody and drink a beer over and discuss, how far we've come. So the short answer is that I will not be attending. I will gladly attend to speak to these places if anybody ever wants me to via online, or if they want to pay for my flight out there, I'll consider it as well. But with that said, I do try to stay here. I try to stay with my family and just leverage what I have to help the little people out there who might not be able to get the insight that otherwise we can give them. So that's another long answer to your short question. Anybody would like to bring up? MS Cavs fans asking me a question about whale shares. I've heard that a little bit over 25% the last time I checked, but I don't want to guarantee that right now. I will leave that for you guys. I'll tell you there is, if you go to my posts on my blogs, you can join the whale shares server from there. Keep up to date on all that stuff in there, and I talk to them and I advise them as well on things. And I'm advising them to create synergy with EOS and create synergy with BitShares and Warbly and all these different projects. So that's precisely what's happening on that front too. That's precisely what we're up to there. So if you guys are interested in creating Voltron with us, while it's still early and while it's still quite mysterious and most people aren't really looking at it, this is the time to do it. Cool. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to bring up?
Real quick, Fuzzy, I got one more question.
Sure.
So the question is from EOS Nation BP. He says, "What will you be presenting in Denver next?"
Well, what you can generally see is a lot of it right here. What we talk about will be here, but I'm going to be presenting a little bit of extra stuff too. I really want to talk about the MASDAX concept and why that's important, but obviously it's not going to be the entire discussion. It's going to be largely an overview of what we talk about in these hangouts. Blocktivity. If you guys are here listening to these, you will not be surprised by anything I'm going to discuss there. But EOS Denver has asked me to join up live and talk with everybody a little bit. So that's something that I when they asked me, I said, of course. Obviously, it's not always easy to make every meeting, so I need advance notice. But if anybody else ever wants me to join up and discuss some of these things, feel free to let me know. Give me some advance notice so I can put it in a calendar and make sure that I have that time set aside. But I would love to talk about this. I think this is the next stage, and you're going to start seeing so much innovation compounding, like Brendan said so eloquently, compounding innovation. Okay. What does that mean? Exponential value propositions, guys. Okay. I don't know how else to say it other than that. And this is at a time when if you're looking at the cryptocurrency markets and crying and being like, I think crypto's going to die, I am very skeptical that that's ever going to happen. Given the nature of the financial markets in the world that we work in today. And if that's not going to happen, then the likelihood is the opposite's going to happen, which means they're just going to get bigger and better. And we're at that point in time when we can actually go beyond CryptoKitties crashing in people's wallets and making it so they lose a bunch of money. We can actually go to the stars and beyond. We can go check out all those planets, those blockchain planets out there in the EOS galaxy, right? This is what we can do. Oh, that is me, Prince Ola. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm inviting you guys to ride the stars with me here. This is what we're going to be doing. And I look forward to discussing some of these things at the at the EOS Denver meetup. And if you haven't already considered, please consider tuning in and participating in that event, listening to it live. And I appreciate everybody who does join up and who is going to be there, letting other people know that I'm going to be talking there too, because I really want you guys to get the message that I'm telling you here. People are really starting to get pumped up, and I'm hearing other people getting pumped up behind the scenes. They're seeing what I'm seeing, and this is across chains. This is in BitShares, this is in EOS, this is in Telos, this is in Warbly. They're all starting to see it. And when this starts happening, I start getting giddy. And this is what you're seeing me at today. Now, I'm not saying the crypto markets in general aren't going to make us sad still a little bit more. But what I am saying is the future for delegated proof of stake is very bright. And that means that EOS, as the number one chain in terms of its capacity and what it's using, well, it's leading the pack. It's the spearhead, right? And for the earlier question about if BitShares will handle it, hey, everybody, EOS is going to need more than one exchange, right? It's going to need more than one decentralized exchange. Crypto is going to need more than one decentralized exchange. And BitShares is the longest lasting one already. The second biggest chain in the world in terms of daily transactions, and the longest at present in terms of total transactions. That's ahead of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But EOS and the BitShares together are really powerful. And the other things that are coming, like Telos and Warbly, guys, we're only going to gain from them, and they're only going to gain from us. I don't see it going any other way. My take on it could be wrong. I'm very bullish tonight. I'm very biased. I've had some very good news this week. I'll leave it at that. Now, with that said, does anybody have anything else that they'd like to bring up before? I'd like to keep us open for another maybe 5-10 minutes at the maximum. Unless you guys are ready for the after party, at which time I'm more than interested in having the after party. Yeah, with that said, Crypto Hippie. Oh, thank you, Crypto Hippie. And I'm glad that you joined up to say that. Just so everybody knows, Crypto Hippie has signed on to help me. And if any of you guys want to do so too, I mean, I need help. I always need help. I can always use help. But Crypto Hippie is going to be helping with an initiative to start getting people to run the EOS Hangouts and to stream them live. I'm going to be giving tokens to him to be giving out and all that good stuff as well. But I do want to let you know that that's going on. And Crypto Hippie, if you want to say something before we close off, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little bit loud, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'll speak quiet. Yeah, so what I meant to type actually was also EOS Hangouts, but also EOS local meetups too. So I want to get people that are holding local meetups to stream those to YouTube, and we can reward them with EOS bits. So, but yeah, I'll be here to help if anybody needs anything. And yeah, thank you guys.
Sounds good, man. And just so you guys are all aware, the reason why we give out EOS bits for this stuff is this is our version of proof of work. We want you guys to prove that you're working, and we'll give you something for it. And all the work that we need is for you to enable us to put the content that you're creating, the meetups that you're creating, on the archives where BitShares, Delegated Proof of Stake, Steam, Mutual Aid Society chains, and EOS have been covered from literally the very beginning. Since their birth, we want you guys to help us collect that in an archive that is not edited, that is not harmed, and is open to anybody to peruse, to cut out of, to grab from, and post. As long as it's not a lie, as long as it's not slander, we're good. As long as you appreciate that and you're taking that content and you're using it, we want that. And we want you to be part of it. So if you're doing that, please consider helping Crypto Hippie and participating in that. We want you to get recognized as part of the historical record. That is my main goal. I'm past the point of needing money, guys. I'm here for a different reason, right? I've been here for a different reason for quite some time before the money came, but the money came after doing good things. But we're at that place where I'm wanting to make sure that we get these things onto our archives. So if anybody's doing that, let Crypto Hippie know. And Crypto Hippie, can you give them your account where they can check that out, or type it in, and I'll say it out loud to them.
Which account would that be?
Where are you going to be posting the?
It'll be yeah. I'll type it in. Hold up.
No problem. Hey, Crazy. We're not quite to the after party yet, but we will be closing this down very shortly for the after party, and I will be giving some information after that. So if you guys are not at our after parties, guys, I can't tell you guys everything here during the live stuff. I don't have enough time. And some stuff I just don't really want to tell in public too much. Join up and be part of our discussions. Be part of our community. You can very easily do so just by going to EOSTalk.io, clicking on the EOSTalk Discord widget that we have right there. It's right underneath the price. You can't miss it. So with that said, man, thank you guys, everybody, for joining up. Crypto Hippie is going to be giving us the link. We will provide that also. And that's going to be on whaleshares.io and on Steam. It's at Forrest Willie with 2 R's, FORREST And again, if you are running a meetup or you're planning on doing that or you're doing anything as far as that stuff goes, please reach out. And that, of course, means online meetups as well. If you're live streaming hangouts, kind of like these are similar to meetups in a very decentralized, non-geographically disclosed way. So, with that said, are you guys ready for the after party? 11. Is that 11? Damn, that's 11 times I said it. You guys leave me alone. I'll talk. Thank you, everybody. All you guys are doing some amazing stuff out there. I know a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys are doing some really good work. The ones of you who are helping me, thank you. You know who you are. And the ones who are not helping, why not? We're at a place in time when humanity really needs this stuff. If for no other reason, recognize that you're valuable and that we need you. We need technology like this to help us. We need the tools. Very much. See you guys next week. the BitShares Talk.